Folks, this is golden. We have the US-based company Anthropic accusing Chinese AI firms of copying Claude through mass fraud. This is the topic of the day right now, and it's rolling over. So this is crazy because essentially what the Chinese are doing is what Anthropic is accusing is that they're accusing Chinese makers of, say, DeepSeek, Minimax, all these Kimi, all these models. They're directly using 24,000 accounts trying to engage with Claude and stealing their secret sauce, distilling their models. And I find that very, very funny because, we know this is happening because we know how fast Chinese AI is improving. We talked on this channel about Minimax. We talked about on this channel about Kimi, and their performance is really 95%, right? So just a little tiny bit less than the juggernaut Anthropic Claude, right? So it's just a little bit shy. And how they're doing this, and I completely agree with this in the sense that I can completely see this happening because the Chinese are really good at copying things, right? I mean, if you know China, if you've been working with China as well, you know that they're very, very good, and China will do whatever it takes to win this AI race, including just essentially ripping it off. And let me just give the full article. So we've identified the Distillation attack, and essentially they're figuring it out how it works, and not just through one account, but through a massive bunch of attacks. So it's extremely sophisticated, and very likely these companies are even working together to share intel on how to get the most out of these American models. So that's kind of crazy. I mean, if you think about it, Anthropic probably spent billions of dollars training Claude, and then if these Chinese guys can get it for thousands, tens of thousands, big discount. Right. So yeah, I completely agree this is happening, and it's kind of interesting how they're trying to call on. So Anthropic is saying that these attacks are growing in intensity and sophistication. Addressing them will require rapid, coordinated action among industry players, policymakers, and the broader AI community. So they're trying to call for help. They're like, oh, government, U.S. government, don't just think about the GPUs, right? The GPUs are not about it, but these attacks, these ongoing attacks on our models are stealing that secret sauce. But the AI community has not reacted very kindly to this. If you actually look at a lot of posts that's happening here, they're kind of saying, you know what? You guys kind of caused this on yourself because you were also found guilty of stealing basically every copyrighted material. Even Elon Musk called this out. They're saying, Anthropic settled books about copying books. In fact, someone tested and they got the entire 95% of the Harry Potter books just by asking Claude. So it's very likely that during that training process, Anthropic just dumped all the books that they have access to and threw it into the model. So the AI community was not very positive on their end. I don't see any kind of positive sentiment on Anthropic's end. Rather, they're just saying, hey, you know what? It's circle stealing. So what, right? Even Ash Crypto was like, yeah, circle stealing. Why not? It's you. Everyone's stealing from each other. But I found this to be very interesting news, and it gives us insight into how these models are improving so fast, both internationally and in China. It's now a big race to see who wins. I just want to chime in some intel as well. I mean, Chinese have always grown from Western ideas, right? So for example, for eBay, there is Taobao, right? Taobao is a Chinese platform made by Alibaba. This is for sellers, their resale website. It's essentially Amazon and eBay combined. Then we have, say, Chinese Twitter, which is Weibo, right? Just the name escaped me for 1 second there, but Weibo copied essentially. There's two actually, Sina, Weibo, and actually no, there's 4 copycats of Twitter in China. So it's kind of interesting how China has this alternate ecosystem, and it's like they've been doing this for a while. This ain't something new. They've been massively copying Western ideas and deploying it very quickly. One thing I do say that's exciting about this race, yet again, everyone's copying each other. I think that's the kind of gist of things, and I'm not gonna say China good, U.S. good or whatnot. But what this benefits, ironically, is us overall, because as the AI community, as all these companies are competing, they're kind of competing on cost. So we no longer have these crazy plans where we're dishing out thousands of dollars. We still have them. Anthropic, Opus 6 is expensive. I still spend a lot on there. But Minimax, 5% of the cost, right? That's 5% of it. That's a lot of savings, right? Especially for all of us here. So I guess in the end, we all benefit in a way. And AI moves so fast that they can use AI to find other ways to copy. The sophistication of these attacks is great. It's insane. And then, of course, DeepSeek is launching its version 4 coming soon. So that's going to be, I don't know. I'm actually interested to see if they can outperform the US models right now. So right now, I think there's still that, and we tested this internally as well. Opus still performs really well. Anthropic's Opus still performs better than the Chinese-made Minimax or Kimi. It's still just a little bit smarter, but it's appreciable smarter. Whether you want to pay 20x of cost for it, that's up to you. But you can still appreciate the intelligence that Opus brings. Even for the mini test that we did about, say, if I need to wash my car, do I drive or do I walk to the car wash? Minimax 2.5 still got it wrong on, I would say, 30% of the time. But Anthropic's Opus, 95% of the time, they'll tell you to use the car because you need a car to wash it, right? So that logic is still very sound there. So anyways, I think it's interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. Obviously, AI is moving at such a rapid pace. And one thing I actually noticed, and I was talking to my team here, is that AI doesn't care what language you use. So you can actually 100% paste a Chinese website and a Chinese API and say, hey, look, let's use that one. So we're going to be in a very interesting state where I think globally that development, that push for AGI is going to happen fast. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing, I'll let you guys decide. But I just found this news to be interesting. And I found just all this Twitter sentiment so funny because everyone's just saying, Anthropic, you also copy too, a last bit as well. I actually talked to a few coders as well, long-term coders, and why Anthropic is doing very well is because every coder that's interacting with Opus, with Anthropic's services, Anthropic's learning from that, right? They're learning from all the patterns that all these coders use, which is why the quality of the coded outputs is good, and why in many ways they're beating other models to it because they have more developers on board. So I find it quite interesting because China also has their own set of developers. Like Chinese are producing more engineers per year than the US just because of the population, right? China population, 2 billion people, right? So I find that quite interesting, like how this will interplay in a few years. This is the first shot. This is not the first shot that's fired, and this will not be the last. So I'm kind of interested to see what the Chinese can come up with, not just in terms of cost now, in terms of outperforming those Western models. And we'll see. We'll see if they'll, if America or China will win. I'm very excited. And being on this channel, we're kind of in the middle of those. We cover both Asia and US-based news. So I hope you guys stay tuned and watch. Our channel's growing super fast. So thank you guys all for your support. Chime in what you think. Chime in what's kind of missing on this channel. We are here to serve you and make things better. So with that, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. See you next one.